my people at the Boxers Training Channel. What's happening with you today? Look, today I've made up my mind to challenge the veracity of the sanctioning bodies, right? All them cats, man, all those sanctioning bodies, man, need to come to terms with how they're going to make the sanctioning bodies positive for the boxers, not just for their pockets, but for the boxers, right? Because we seem to be running into all kind of problems with these sanctioning bodies, right? And based on the fact that Torrance Crawford alone is going through it with the WBC, with the fact that all these sanctioning bodies are really not demonstrating the goodwill of the boxers, right? All they want to do is collect those sanctioning fees, right? And you know what? About maybe a year, no, actually, I take that back. It was during the time that Torrance Crawford and the Errol Spence was about to fight, right? And Errol Spence was really tripping on the sanctioning fees, right? He wanted to know, and you know what I'm saying, this question seemed to have evaporated. It didn't get any traction, didn't go nowhere, right? It just seemed to just disappear, right? He wanted to know, you know what I mean, what was happening with them sanctioning fees, right? I think it was like the 5% of the sanctioning fees that were being taken at that time for, I guess, for that event, right? So, hey, look, he wanted to know where that money was, and I was like, damn, that's a good question, right? But again, that question seemed to have evaporated. So here's the deal, man. Like, it's my opinion that the sanctioning body are really not doing anything to push the boxing forward, right? I mean, they're not really making fighters fight one another. You know what I mean? They're not challenging the veracity of why a fighter doesn't want to fight another fighter. They're just not doing anything, and I think that that's a damn shame because it's a lot of interest in the world of boxing. Excuse me, in the sport of boxing, right? And I think that it's about time that we as fans, right, and pundits, right, need to stand up and make some noise, right? Because this is crazy, man. Here's the deal: Devin Haney is the WBO welterweight champion of the world, right? Rolando Rolly Romero is the WBA welterweight champion of the world. You have Crocker, can't recall his first name, but Crocker is the IBF welterweight champion of the world. And you have Mario Barrio, which holds the prestigious belt of the WBC, right? Which I might add is going through a lot of changes because there's a lot of claims being made by Charles Crawford about the WBC, and those claims actually make sense to me. I don't know about the rest of y'all, man. You know what I mean? But I believe in what's right. You know what I mean? And the scale of justice when it comes to right and wrong, and when it comes to Torrance Crawford and the WBC, the scales are leaning towards Crawford. Because Crawford makes the claim that the WBC wants more money than the other sanctioned bodies do in reference to this specific case. So he can't speak to any other case, so he don't know. But I'm saying in regards to this case, he happens to know how much he paid the WBC, the WBA, WBC, no, excuse me, the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF. He knows how much he paid each one, and nobody had any complaints about that. But the WBC seems to believe that they deserve more money than the rest of the sanctioning bodies. Hey, man, come on, man. Y'all don't care about that? You guys don't care about that. I'm talking in the boxing world. Y'all don't care about that? That don't, you know what I'm saying, rub you out the wrong way. It rubs me the wrong way, man. Because it makes me feel like there's some game jumping off somewhere, right? The WBC claims that specific money was earmarked for, in the best interest for looking out for old fighters that fell on hard times and um, um, medical expenses for boxers. It was just all about the boxing, right? But ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying, justified or made any relevant foundations to support the fact that what the WBC is saying. And y'all ain't got a problem with that. Anyway, I'm gonna let that go because that's not really actually came on today about what I came on about, but it has something to do with it because it's the sanctioning bodies that allowed it. Look, man. Again, Devin Haney is the WBO welterweight champion of the world, right? Devin Haney wants to unify, right? He wants to pursue being great. He wants to unify and attempt to conquer the welterweight division and be undisputed. Any champion that's worth his salt, right, would want to do the same thing. But here's the deal. Roy Romero was called out by Devin the Dream Haney. And Roy Romero is trying to make it seem like he wants to fight somebody else, right? He don't want the smoke from Devin the Dream. And look, man, I mean, we talk about unification. Unifications are a big deal in boxing, right? You know what I mean? Again, the sanctioning body is not making any noise in reference to making these types of fights happen. All they doing is kicking back, collecting feet. And then, again, y'all all right with that? I'm going to start making some noise. You know what I mean? And I'm starting today. So, Rolly Romero says he wants to fight somebody else. Who is that somebody else? Right? Is that the mandatory? Actually,